Okay, so my goal today is to make some additional progress on my website, which I've been converting over to Gatsby version 2. And I've been doing this very slowly because I'm just kind of fitting it in the cracks between everything else that I've been working on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to my desktop and let's just take a look at the code where we are now. So we've got, okay, so let's figure out where we are. So, let's go to get Gatsby develop running. And I want to open a new Google Chrome window, which I will pull. Just realized I forgot to pull my mic out, so that's a little embarrassing. Yeah, that's probably not going to be great audio to start this thing off. So what I'm trying to do today is get this website running. So it's going to be running at localhost 8000. And so far what we've been able to do is get the blogs. So like pages are building. I don't have a blog role, which I still need to build, but I do have the individual blog pages. But as you can see, there are a lot of issues with the styling here. So, this should look like my, if we look at my home page here, there's some pretty obvious styling problems. So the reason for that is that the default CSS module support changed in Gatsby v2. So we need to get that set up for V1, we need to either set up CSS module support or I need to switch over to something like Emotion. My plan has been to switch over to Emotion, but I haven't done that yet. So let's see how far we can get on getting these pages in place. So if we look at the code, we can see. Let me pop this out of the way. That's not going to pop anymore, is it? Let's just get this over. So what I've done thus far is we have the ability to get our unique pages, to group posts by their unique values, which would be like, this would be to get your tags. And then we have the ability to add pagination. So let's take a look at what we have done. We take in the path template, the create page function, which gets passed in from the Gatsby create pages API. It's one of the actions. Then we've got the component that we use, the type of the page, and a value that I'm not sure what that value is. I guess that just gets passed into the context. So then we have in create pages, we set up some redirects. The redirects are just here to get some pages that I don't have on the site anymore that may have been linked from elsewhere. So we're not going to worry about those. I've got my templates here. So we've got a page, a post, and a previews. The previews are what we're thinking about now. So I am doing a call to get all the pages, all the posts, and from there, we're able to create all of the pages and we create all of the posts. So what we're not doing yet is creating all of the category pages. So I believe what happens here is I should have, check this out. So we did get some pagination running. So we split up the posts by category. So we get all the unique categories and then we go through and get each post. And I feel like I'm getting a pop here that I don't like. So let me point that down a little bit. Okay, so we take each category, split it up into the section for each thing. So by doing entries, when you do object entries, what ends up happening is you've got if you've got an object that looks like this, and you would say like foo, and then maybe the thing is like name here. Oh, come on. So if you've got that object and then you do object.entries of object, what you would get out of this would be an array. And at 0, you would have, oh, for Christ's sake, foo. And then at 1, you would have name equals Jason, like this. And so this is pretty handy if you just need to like get at some values and use the key and there are other ways to do this too, but this is an easy one. So, so what we're doing is we split that up so that we've got our, the category name and then the posts, and we, paginate. This is what we do for the value. So the type is what the page is, and the value is what the actual current category is, and then we drop in our posts, right? So then that creates our paginated links. So from there, what we can do is now we can duplicate this for our tags. And I feel like this could be dried out a little bit because this feels kind of silly. Should we refactor now? Maybe? I feel like we should. Let's do this. So how would this work? This would be like a let's just do create pages, and that's going to create, that would accept the type, the posts, and what else do we need? Anything else? No, that's it. That's all we need. So then in here, what we can do is we would do, let's see, group posts equals group posts by unique, and then we would do the type and the posts, and then once we have our group posts, we would do object entries posts, and then for each we would take data, and we've got the const of the type, and that would be data 0. And then we've got the const of the posts, which, let's see, call it post group so that we don't have confusing names. So that would be data 1. And then, let's see, yeah, we've got our type and our post group. And I just see there's someone in the chat named Robert Tables, Lil Bobby Tables. Glad to have you here. It's excellent. All right, so looking at this now, we've got our create pages, we've got group posts. We split these up, and I need to actually do this by group posts. That would have been a silly thing. So we're creating our group posts, and then we're going to paginate. And the way that we will paginate is we are going to pass in the pagination defaults, and then we're going to pass in the path template. And so this is going to be a little bit different than it was, but it's going to be blog, and then we're going to grab that type so that we can use it. Then we're going to grab the oh, wait, hold on, we did this. So create pages by type, then we're grouping by type. So this can't be type. This needs to be something else. Let's name this one, we will name this type value, whatever, and type value. And so we're getting the same thing. So this will be category and then the category name. And then we want to drop in this, this template function. So this is coming out of Lodash so that we can template our things. So then we've got type, then we've got the value is type value. And from there, we can drop in our group posts. And so in doing this, what I should have done is remove the need to do that and remove the need to do these. And what I should be able to do instead is two groups. Create pages, and I will do it by tag. and all posts. And then I'll do it category and all posts. And what we should get out of the end of that is both the tags and the categories should be created. So let's see if that happened. Nope, I have an error, so I did something wrong. Let's take a look at what I missed. Posts map is not a function. And posts, let's see here. If I do all posts, edges, filter, so that should give me back what I want. So let's see what group posts by unique is. There's almost no reason why that would be. What's this doing? It doesn't like. Oh, okay. We've already got an all posts up here. So let's say this one is going to be post array. And then, oh, we're doing all sorts of things wrong here. So we've got our post group, and that ought to solve, I think, that problem. Let's give this a shot, see if it does what I want it to do. Okay, so we got through create pages, which means that we're not getting the error anymore. So once we get through the queries, that should, yep. So I can get rid of this, and I can also get rid of this. And what we want to see in here is blog category, and then we should see blog tag. Yep, blog tag. And I don't know that any of my tags, looks like, yeah, I've got a couple that have pages. And if I click into them, nothing happens because we haven't actually set up the pages to receive any data yet. But that's okay. We just needed to create those pages. What we're avoiding is the 404 because our blog hasn't been created at all. So then the last thing that we need to do is just paginate here. And with this one, we just run it like that. And what this should do is give us actual blog pages, which should mean that this 404 page will go away and we'll get a blank page. And the blank that we'll get will be because we haven't set up the blog template, which I should probably rename to previews to be consistent because I'm calling it previews and it kind of makes more sense as previews. Maybe I should do that. I probably should. I don't know. Yeah, let's do it. That feels like the right thing to do. So we compiled successfully. I'm going to reload this, and we got what I expected, which is that it is doing what we want, but we're missing things. So let me rename this. Let me also rename this because I want it to be previews, plural. Previews. Okay. So then when I come in here, we've got a lot of things that are happening, and a lot of it comes down to this. Wait a minute. This is all coming out of the page context, which has that changed? So let's take a look. Migrating from V1 to V2. V2 has gone stable now, so we should be going to www and not next.gatsby.js. Here's our V2 guide, and let's just look for page context. I wonder if the value changed. let's take a look for what is missing in here. So if I reload this, cannot read slug of undefined on 98. Clearly that is not a thing that's happening in here, so let's take a look at what actually went wrong. Post front matter slug. Okay, that seems like something that should exist. So what are we doing differently? Aha, I know. The reason that this is a problem is that we are getting, so we've got our post group. That post group brings out a node, but that node is, it's using the new format. So let me dump this and we'll take a look at what it actually has in it, because it's different now. Because what we're doing is we're using the file and then child markdown remark, which means that we have to get into child markdown remark to get that front matter. So my post is actually going to be, let's see, so it's node child markdown remark. So what I can do here is, let's do this. And I think that'll just do it. Let's check to see that nothing else is happening here. I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's just give it a shot. So if we refresh, we do get that error, which should happen on check the render method of blog, which is here. I need to rename that because that should be previews. Okay. And then where are we iterating here? We're iterating there. We've got an ID, so that should be all right. Oh, but it looks like we're not actually calling the ID, which means that this is undefined. And so that would explain why we're getting the error, which means we need to go back in here and let's look at our query for the posts. And so we should be pulling out the ID as well. And because I want to make sure that works before I just let it rip, let's get in here, grab this whole query, and go out to graphical. That's fine, and then we'll just, oh geez. So we can get rid of that. Don't need any of that. Can collapse this. Let's run it. And don't need the pages, but I do need the posts. And this gives me an actual ID. So let's keep that. I'm going to put that up here, save it. Then let's get in here, and I also need this one. So then, don't use it anywhere else, so we can just delete this. And what we should see is that'll cause an error for now because we need to rerun the query. So let me start develop over again. And this will give us nothing yet. Come on, little buddy. Okay, here we go. There we are. All right, so this is running. We've got no errors, and I killed that console log, so we're not getting anything out there. So this is a good deal, except what has gone wrong? We're missing pretty much all of our data. So let's take a look at what is not here. So we need to pull in the title. What else do we need? We need to pull in let's see, that's style stuff that we need to deal with later. So we've got the slug, we've got the title. Do we have the categories? Yep. We have the description? Nope. So let's get a description. We've got a description. Now we need, let's see, should we bother with the excerpt? I feel like everything's got an excerpt, so I'm just going to run this front matter description because I think that was like a lazy shortcut for me to allow me to skip certain things, and I don't want to do that. I want it to fail instead. So let's check and make sure that we've got the tags. We've got the tags. We've got, that's the slug. That should be everything. So let's save, and we're gonna have to run that one more time. And the reason is that these get run at the initial compile time, and so when I change Gatsby node, I have to stop and start the server to get those to get picked up. In the chat, I'm being asked if I know any other languages. I do not know any other languages. I speak enough Spanish. My joke is I speak Spanish at like a 4-year-old level. I'm really good at talking to toddlers because I can talk about what's here and things I can touch, but I can't talk about feelings or the future or the past. I'm pretty much like, I need to go here, or I have a ball. I'd be very good as like a babysitter, I think. All right, that's run. And here we go. We actually have posts. And these don't look half bad. I think this actually looks almost just like it. Let's see. Is this zoomed in? Because that might change things too. Whoops. Let's go back. Zoom out. Okay, so no. Still a couple issues. Not too many issues. This actually looks better than pretty much anything else we've done. So we can actually click in and see the thing. That's great. I am seeing, however, this is the first post, or one of the first posts I ever wrote, which means I need to sort these. So let's go over here and let's figure out how to sort. I'm going to do that with all file, and I need to sort. I'm going to sort by fields. Is it going to let me sort by... What will it let me sort by? Crap, do I have to do the sort here? Okay, so I'm going to do the sort out here. And the way that I'm going to do the sort is up here where we grab... What's going on? How do I... Here. So what I want to do is... Let's sort these by their publish date. So in here I have any of these posts, I have a date. We want it to sort by that date. So let's do that. I guess I could sort by these. Would that be lazy? Yes, but I think it's a manageable level of lazy because I always name my files sequentially, and that seems easier than trying to do this. So let's sort by the relative path, and we're gonna do that here. And I want to sort by fields, and I want to sort by the relative, sort by fields. And the field that I want to sort by, what am I doing wrong? Sort has invalid value? What are my options? I want to sort. I sort by fields. Then What does that do? Let's collapse this. And we will go order descending. Hey, that's better. And then I need to just get rid of this post because I'm not actually using it. And I don't think it has anything in there. So let's just get rid of it so that I'm not putting garbage up. So then, that being said, I should be able to then copy this out. Take that back to here. And paste it just like that. So let's run this again. Okay. And there's a question in the chat. How often do I stream? I've been streaming a couple times a week. Let's see, this is the second time that I've streamed this week. Typically, I think last week I streamed twice. My goal is to do it at least a couple times a week. It hasn't been on a regular schedule or anything, but the goal is that, we stream some of our internal meetings at Gatsby, so you can kind of see the way that we're planning things and prioritizing things. I'm also streaming some projects like these, like this is a version 1 to version 2 migration, which is something that I needed to do anyways, but I thought would be potentially valuable for people who are maybe running V1 sites or just wanted to see how to build a more, full-featured blog with, things like pagination and categories and stuff. And then I'm also doing things like I did a stream with Nader Dabbit from AWS, and we played with the Amplify CLI to deploy a site to S3 and CloudFront. I did a stream yesterday with the Stackery to build a serverless backend that we went a little off the rails on that, so we're going to regroup and do a kind of a follow-up there. I've also got some additional ideas. Let's see, I wrote them down. We're looking at maybe putting together a Gatsby and Ghost. Ghost, the CMS, is going headless, so they built a Gatsby plugin, so we want to try that out. We were also looking at doing some stuff with WordPress, some stuff with Airtable, just trying to get more things out there that I'll just kind of build. I'll build things with those and live stream the process. And ideally, that'll happen at least a couple times a week. So now we've got a blog that is in reverse chronological order. So this is the most recent post, the Find the Why, and we can see that here, Find the Why, number 82, and then the 2017 retrospective is after that. So we're ordered properly, and that should also be true with these. Building happiness, and let's see, read the label should be right up here. There it is. So cool, we got it running. So with that, I believe that is all of the construction stuff. And I've got about 20 minutes before my next meeting. So I'm trying to decide if we want to call it here or if I should spend 20 minutes on styles. Let's put 20 minutes on styles. Let's see. Oh, I just realized in the chat that the question was about coding languages and not spoken languages. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I know a couple of coding languages. I got my start in PHP. I wrote ActionScript and stuff before that. I've done a little bit of a lot of things. I do not know Swift. Okay, so let's figure out what we want to do. Let's just see what happens if I do the CSS module stuff. If it just brings me back to where I was. And if not, let's see. Ugh. Well, that's annoying because that's pretty much the only way that I write class names in CSS. So if we look at my styles, we will see that all over the place. I guess I didn't do it here. Did I not do it? Wait, was I like ahead of the curve on this and did it the right way? Yeah, no, this kind of stuff. I do all sorts of gross things like that. What else do I need with CSS modules? Because it seems like things broke, and I don't know why. Let's see here. I don't care. Let's do emotion, because if I'm gonna have to make changes anyways, I might as well make changes that are kind of fun to show off as opposed to just arguing with things like that. So yeah, let's do that. I'm not going to get far on this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add emotion. So let's do the Gatsby plugin emotion, and what we need for that is all of these things. So I'm going to do a yarn add Gatsby plugin. Oh man, plugin emotion. Can't type today. We need emotion itself. We need emotion server so that we can do the server-side rendering. And then we need React emotion so that we can do different, React-y things with it, like styled components. And the reason that I like emotion as a kind of a Gatsby setup is the way that we do the server-side rendering when we're doing a build time thing. We have the ability here to like extract critical CSS and print static CSS. So one of the problems with using like CSS and JS is that you have to wait for the JavaScript to parse and run before your styles get applied. But when you're using Gatsby or any server-side rendering, really, you have the ability with Emotion Server to extract that CSS and put it directly into the document so that you're not bound by JavaScript. It'll render even with JavaScript disabled. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going for here. Let's get this up and running again. And it should run fast because we didn't change any queries, so hopefully it'll just pop right open. Let's see. I guess not. There's some cool stuff going on in the open source team right now. They are working to make these queries run, instead of having to run all of the queries for your site ahead of time like we're doing right now, they're going to run on demand. And this is going to be really nice because that 15 seconds that we just waited for that to run, that goes away entirely. So your startup for Gatsby should become almost instantaneous, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look at what needs to change if we're going to do emotion here. So let's start with something like the header, because the header is an easy one. Let's take a look over here. And so what we want to do with that is, you can take the nav and we're going to, let's see, create a header. And that's going to be a styled, you're not going to pull that in for me, are you? Fine, I'll import it myself. From React Emotion. And that will give us a styled header. And then we can just write plain CSS in here. And if I take my header and let's put it over to the side so that I can see what's going on, then we've got a couple things that I need to, let's see, here's the header. So we can do a background color. And this is going to be the first major change. CSS variables don't work the way that you want them to in Emotion, because actually there might be a way to get them work, but honestly, it's just easier if you don't. So I've got my variables here, and we're going to convert these over to JavaScript. So let's do that with, I don't know, what's the easiest way to do this? Let's add this as a, no, let's put it in config. That's the right place for it. And we'll call this styles. And inside of it, we're going to export some like general things. So this way, we only have to bring in the stuff that we're actually using, and it will make things a little easier from the standpoint of like kind of namespacing stuff and understanding what we're doing. So I want to look at all of these. We're just going to pull these straight out. So here's my colors. Great. I'm going to head over here, and we are going to make all of these into actual colors, or into variables. So we've got, because it's namespaced as colors, I'm just going to use these. And then let's grab this one. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick shortcut here, and I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. Wrap them all and do that. And then I'm going to take all of these color prefixes and I'm going to do that. And then we just have to go in and do these instead of making you watch me type out all of those fixes from scratch. So it still doesn't like this, but I'm not sure why. Let's see, what does it not like? Styles is not defined. Oh, that's in the header. Preferred default export. Yeah. Okay. So then to make that happy, I'm going to also do these types of exports. So let's jump back over here. And now we're going to grab out the fonts. And we will do the fonts. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We want to grab all of these. Calm down. This one. Oh, that one I'm going to have to do some fancy crap with. Then we go out here, come back one, do one of those, and go to the end and make it a comma. With this one, I think what I want to do is quote all of these, quote that one, and this one, and then I'm going to make this into an array, and I'm going to join it. And by default, it does a comma, but let's just make that explicit so that it's very clear what's going on. And now it doesn't like these, so I'm going to get rid of all the font prefixes. Let's turn this one into just heading. Let's turn this one into default. And that one actually needs to be different. Let's see. What if I take this out and instead we'll just do this. And I'm going to remove the join there. And then in here, I'll make this one the default font stack. And we'll join it. And again, we're going to make that explicit. And with this one, how do I want to get clever? Let's just play with this real quick. If I have this, let's say I have 2 and 3, and I do a join like that, what I'm going to get is there. Now, if I want to put something in the front, I don't necessarily want to mutate this. So what I can do is I can take this, let's define it as an array. Okay, and then I can do 1, and then I would spread the array, and then I would join it like this. And then I get 1, 2, 3. So I'm basically going to do something kind of cute and clever here, but what we're ultimately going for is I want my default font stack, and we'll join that. Oh my God. Okay, so this gives us actual variables that we can use. Default font stack is there. Okay, we need to add that to our default export. And what else are we missing? Let's see, you got a couple just little style issues that I'm going to deal with. Let's go back in here. We've got our animation transition time. And then we've got some custom media stuff that we need to deal with. So let's jump back over here, do export const animation, and we can just say transition time. Quote it. And what else is missing? Let's see. Our custom media. So this might prove, yeah, maybe it'll be fine. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I might have to come back and revisit this. So these, what I want to do is set these kind of normal defaults here. Let's take all of these. No. And what I'm going to want to do is take each of these let's try it like that. And this one's going to move like this. Okay. And so what I think that'll let me do is just drop that into the emotion stuff, but that may cause issues. May have to come back and fix that. So let's go play with some of this. So let's get back into our header. And so in our header, we wanted to pull in the colors. So we're going to pull in the colors from config styles. And we want our background color to be color dot, what was it? Lightest. So in Spirit, this is kind of the same thing. Color is what I wanted. And I got rid of all those, so let's look back here. It is colors. So I need colors. And now, if I swap this, and let's see, there'll be one down here too. What I should get is broken styles. Because I imported styles that I'm not using anymore. I guess we can keep it for now to avoid the explicit breaking. But you'll notice that what happened is we've dropped these styles, which means that we've got some stuff happening. But if we come up and we inspect our header, the header itself has this class, and the background color is our lightest color, which is what we wanted. So then if we stay in here and we start just adding stuff, let's do left 0, position fixed, right 0, top 0, and make sure that it's on top by setting the Z index high. We get our styles back the way we wanted them. Very cool. Let's also look at this one here. We want to do skip to content. And that's going to be a styled anchor link. So that one is going to have all of this, and this we can mostly just copy out. There's a couple things that are going to be different because we don't have, I think I can just drop the and like that. And then for all of these, I'm instead going to do colors dot and a closing curly brace. So that's part of it. It doesn't like something. What doesn't it like and why? So it doesn't like that in general. But that's okay. It doesn't need to like that. What it does need to like, though, is this content, which is somehow... Oh, weird. It just, like, wasn't quite caught up yet. That's fine. That's fine. Take your time, VS Code. Okay, so that should be fine. And then now, yeah, that's what we want. So when I tab, it pulls up this skip to content, and that's exactly what we were looking for. When it gets focus, it jumps all this data out here so that people can actually see what's going on. So we can collapse that one, and let's move on to the next thing. Actually, what time is it? 12:57. Okay, so that's about as much as I'm going to have time for. I got another meeting starting here in a second. Yeah, so next time we're going to continue converting things over to emotion. So yeah, it's going to be just a lot of me doing exactly this, refactoring these CSS classes to be emotion classes, and hopefully we'll be able to solve that problem. I would love to get this done on the next podcast. So, or on the next stream. So, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can put 2 hours into refactoring, and we'll get it completely converted over. But thanks everybody for watching, and we will catch you next time.